and as you hope it will be, Jeremy from the band is on the line. It's been too long. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Welcome back to the show. It's been
Thank you for having me.
while since you've been on, so how are you keeping?
Yeah, all right. Same as you. Same as everybody. I don't know if you can hear the lawnmowers in the background in my neighbourhood, but yeah, I'm enjoying the weather where possible. But, you know, I'd love to be able to play some gigs and see the band and actually do some stuff in real life. That's good.
Yeah, are you missing the rest of the band? I guess you're used to spending so much time together on the road and then recording and all the different processes, you know, of being in a band. So I can imagine you've been letting out a few tears here and there.
Well, a little bit, yeah, and I particularly miss just playing the music with them. We did some live stream tracks for the Unity Festival, thanks to you, and it was kind of an interesting way to play together because it was like we were recording our parts like a week apart from each other, sending them around with a green screen so that we could like build it up. And it just made me think. On the day, I found it quite frustrating because I was like, I mean, this is fine, but it's nothing like playing show, you know, real life show with real life people in front of you. That's how I understand what the music means, really.
Yeah, absolutely. You just can't replicate that connection, can you, with an audience?
No, you can't.
On these live streams, unfortunately.
Better than nothing, though, isn't it? You know, I'm glad that people still have something to watch and enjoy, and it's still, you know, I'd still rather be doing that than nothing. Nice
of you, though, to release music for people to blast out in lockdown. I feel like, you know, music's what we all need right now.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I was just thinking this today, you know, I've been just listening to more music than I've done in years and years and years, just because I've had the time and the inclination to do so. So it's nice to be able to put some out and give people something new to enjoy, and a couple of tracks out now and the album out in August.
Were you contemplating maybe not putting music out because of the kind of lockdown situation? Did that change your plans? Did you kind of have that conversation?
We had the conversation. We decided that it wasn't what we wanted, really, and we didn't think that's what other people would want. I mean, we can't promote, as it were, the album in the usual way, and we can't play live, but we still want to be able to put music out, and I think that's something that we were lucky enough to have under our belts before lockdown. You know, we finished the album in January, and we just didn't want to sit on it any longer. It'd be really frustrating to be sat on it for a calendar year to wait for all this to blow over. I think we just want the music to be out there and to be in people's lives.
Yeah, and it does feel like the world is on pause a little bit at the moment, and people do have more time, so hopefully people can really, you know, sit with this new song and, you know, really look into the lyrics and digest it.
And it's just nice to be able to bring something positive into people's lives as well. Bit of enjoyment, 3.5 minutes of pleasure.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we played a new track called In Birdsong on the show a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, this is now the kind of first proper single from the forthcoming new record. So what's this song all about before I push play on it?
Yeah, Arch Enemy. So it was one of the first songs that John demoed that I can remember hearing like a fully formed song in there. And I was like, wow, this is really comprehensive. And I also thought it had a kind of classic everything feel about it, like it had sort of arrived fully formed in a way. He's written the song about our protagonist, if you will, is looking for some meaning, looking for a god almost, and in modern times, and all he can find is a sort of congregation of all the sort of toxicity and waste and everything we throw away, which is indeed a fatberg in the sewers, which he thinks, well, this will do, and prays to it. So, I mean, that's fairly wild, even by our standards.
I love it. So here it is then, new music from one of my favourite bands on the planet, Everything, and this is Arch Enemy. I love it. The sound of everything blasting out on BBC, introducing In Kent Tonight. That is Arch Enemy, and Jeremy is still on the line. Hello.
I am. Thank you for playing that.
You are very welcome. That seriously slaps. It's so good. I think it's got that real, like, everything groove to it. And also, Jonathan, his lyricism is kind of as mad and interesting as ever.
As ever, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it has a sort of everything classicism to it musically, and also lyrically. He's pushed it even further.
Yeah.
It's one of the more sort of satirical moments, I guess, on the record. It's got a good sense of humour, I think.
Definitely. So you were kind of saying, you know, the theme that runs through that song, is that something that's going to occur throughout the whole album as well?
In a very broad sense, there's a sort of examination of sort of the wonderment of life, really, because a lot of things that I think our first 4 albums had been a sort of conversation amongst themselves in a way, and that it was time for us to kind of turn the page and to look at things differently. And in that time, a couple of us have had babies. It's been a wedding where we were all the best men. You know, lots of sort of grown-up life has happened, and lots of new life has happened.
Yeah.
And it's definitely inspired a different approach from all of us, I think. And and also we've just finally grown up a little bit. It's been our longest gap between records, so we've had a bit of sort of breathing space and a bit of time to mature, like a cheese.
I love it. And I was reading somewhere that you recorded this album quite quickly. Is that right?
Yeah, well, Alex and John worked really hard for ages on the writing and on the kind of pre-production stuff, and then we got together in the autumn to kind of hammer the songs into their sort of final shape and start jamming the parts and stuff. And then the actual recording process, we worked with John Congleton, who's a brilliant American producer who'd done great records for like St. Vincent and Sharon Van Etten and The Killers. And yeah, he was so great to work with, and he was like, yeah, we can do this in 2 weeks, no worry. And we were like, I don't think we can. How about 5? And he was like, no, 2 will do fine. And we were 11 days in and we ran out of things to do because he just kept it moving really, really quickly. And
Brilliant.
Me and Mike were tracking live together, just bass and drums playing live, which we've rarely done before, and it's a real, gives it a certain freshness. And we do like 3 takes, and we'd be like, okay, now let's go back through and we'll listen for the best take, and then maybe we'll get a comp of all the good bits. And he was like, nah, you've got it. We're not going to listen to anything. If you're going to listen for problems, we'll find them. So keep moving. Keep moving forward.
So it's going to sound like a really like live band record, like you say, very fresh.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, really. We just wanted to like not overthink things, really. Certainly once we got into the studio, we didn't want to have to sort of unpack all the songs again and start again. We would just be like, right, knock it out, bang, bang, bang. Yeah, we did 13 songs in 12 days or something.
That is pretty good going. So the new record is called RE-ANIMATOR. How did you come to that title?
It's a lyric that appears in one of the songs. Well, we were drawn to it because it's kind of indicative of the record and the spirit that went into it, because we wanted to be kind of reinvigorated and we wanted it to be a kind of fresh start for ourselves, really. And it definitely has a sense of like this is a new chapter. And we've come back to life. It's really nice.
And the cover of it is super striking. Obviously the 4 of you with sort of this gold shimmer over you. I mean, did you actually do that in real life? Were you painted gold? I'm trying to imagine how this came to life.
Well, one of the things that lockdown has forced out of us is we weren't able to get together to do photos or videos or any of the sort of traditional bits and bobs you have to do to launch a record. And Jonathan, being the sort of incredible mind that he is, was like, I'm going to use this time to learn this 3D modelling software.
As you do.
Which I massively admire, because I can't learn the guitar, let alone...
Brilliant.
It took me about an hour and a half to send off a passport application. But so he's really good at all that stuff, and he thought it would be a good way to spend the time, but also a good way for us to basically make photos and videos and all the bits and pieces we need. He got us all to have about 100 pictures of us taken just on our phones in one pose. We sent them to him. He was able to take all these different images from different angles and put them into the software and make kind of 3D avatar versions of ourselves. And we used that in the In Birdsong video, and then all of our lots of family and friends did the same thing and sent these images to John, and he was able to put all these people in the video, striking video. I think it's kind of his best work video-wise. And then we just used the same idea for the album cover, because we were so into it, so into that new aesthetic that was not at all something we anticipated even 2 months ago.
I mean, aesthetic obviously is a big thing for your band, and when you come and see you live, you know, you almost have uniforms, don't you? Your new looks for each different project. And I spot a new one going on for the RE-ANIMATOR
right.
phase of Everything. So, yeah, talk us through that kind of look.
Well, I was on tour with Fold for most of last year, and playing bass with them, which is great. Little sabbatical for me. Towards the end of that tour, we were in Moscow, and I went to the Cosmonaut Museum there, the Museum of Cosmonautics Space Exploration Museum, and they had loads and loads of Russian spacesuits on display, and I was so taken with them, and I took loads of photos and sent them to the others, and was like, let's just make our own one of these for the next album. And everyone's like, yep, cool, easy. Inevitably, it sort of deviated a little bit away from wearing actual spacesuits, but we've always been taken with that sort of sci-fi uniform aesthetic. We did it all ourselves this time round. We bought some bits and pieces, we sewed bits and pieces together and made them up ourselves. Red stripe down the trousers.
Oh yes, it's a look. Now, you briefly touched on touring with Foals, which we should talk about, because like you say, not a bad side hustle, that.
Not a bad side hustle, yeah. They were very good to me. I had a good time. I did all of the whole of 2019 with them. And it was fantastic. I had a really great time. I learnt like 45 songs. We had a couple of weeks rehearsal and then just went around the world for about 6-7 months solid. And then there were a few bits and pieces in the autumn as well. And I think we did 108 shows or something in that time.
Wow.
I had a really great time. And it was also really nice for me to see how a different ecosystem works and what they do well and what my own band does well, to be reminded of the value of that and how rare and precious and delicate that whole setup is. And to come back to everything with a sense of perspective for the first time ever in our career. That was all really helpful to me, really useful.
You must just be like itching to play live, because obviously Everything,
God,
huge live band, all those shows with Foals, you must just be like, get me somewhere, please. Let me play in front of the crowd.
Yeah, I know. And we were supposed to be touring together at this point in the year as well. And obviously that's all been thrown up in the air. So, I'm doubly itching to get back.
We'll get there, though. Until then, we have got an Everything album to look forward to in August. What's the date again?
August 21st.
August 21st. People need to look out for that. They can pre-order the record right now. Jeremy, thank you so much for being on the phone tonight.
Thank you. It's great to speak to you again, Abby. You take care.
So good to talk to Jez tonight about fatbergs, weird lyrics, spacesuits, and the rest. This next is The New Coast with Tear Us Apart.